2023. Do we have a motion to open?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are open. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. So tonight's meeting, we are going to have some more discussion on the upcoming articles for our fall town meeting on November 6th. Some of these articles have been amended, so we're gonna get the amended version. Mr. Kelly's gonna go through each article with us. So we'll start with Article 1, get an explanation of what it is, if it's been amended at all. We can have some discussion, and then we'll put it to a vote.
Article 1 is payment of prior year bills. It's a traditional housekeeping article. It's $5,080.69. It requires 9/10 vote, and as you know, you see it every year, either now or in the spring, to take care of bills that came in late or came in right at the end of the fiscal year.
Yeah, it's a typical housekeeping type article.
Yep.
There are no changes in it.
Okay.
You want to do them one by one?
Yep, we're gonna take each one by one. Any discussion on this article?
No, I'm good.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, so it passes unanimously.
So the board recommends that one. Committee recommends that one. Article 2 is amendments to the fiscal '24 budget. This is for two reasons. One is we are looking for actuarial services on our OPEB liability. And the second is because of our changing of health insurance, we've ended up with a number of employees, a couple, 4 or 5, I believe, that changed from individual to family because we are offering obviously a better product than we have in the past. We're also offering a seriously better product to our retirees. So that is an increase. It's within the difference between our estimate of revenues and after the state passed their budget in August, late. The increase, it's still within that increase by about $10,000.
So
Not bad.
is there still a
And then
same,
this was amended and a reorganization was taken out of it.
with this insurance plan for the town, is it still a 60-40 split?
Yes.
Right, okay.
And not only is the group health, but the general insurance. The general insurance is far better for our police and fire at the same price. We have the 2023 workers' comp base rates. The insurance is costing us at the same price as before. And we have additional professional liability and general liability coverage for it cost a little bit more, but there is Maya had limits that were general limits. We have converted to limits now that are individual occurrence limits. So, in other words, Maya was $150,000 for
Everyone.
everything. that happens, we have 150,000 for each occurrence. So it's quite a bit better coverage, and it's almost the same price. Where we go with the increases, we're getting more popular with the health insurance.
Is this plan considered an HMO or a PPO?
We are an HMO. It's but we are part of a group that is like a self-insured group, and we are using Harvard Pilgrim as the provider. And we had Harvard Pilgrim before individually, and they were going to hit us with a 30% increase. And when we joined the group, it was a 10% increase. And they also offer dental and vision to our retirees, which were not offered before.
So is it more cost effective for the employees?
Oh, it's and there's a lot more bells and whistles.
So better access to care.
Better access to care, better access to technology, to access care. People on you can call someone and get someone actually talking to you.
Well, that's a big deal nowadays.
That's rare.
So is there a lot of
And it's portable around the whole country.
Well, my next question was is there a decent amount of towns in the Commonwealth utilizing this program?
It started out with 3.
Yeah.
We're right now at 16, I believe, full-time, and we are administering the retirees for 5 other towns that are self-insured.
So the more towns that get involved in this and utilize it, the cost will come down even.
And we're using
further.
Canadian drugs.
I mean, this would actually be something good for the Massachusetts Municipal Association to promote, at their, like, the annual.
Well, they have their own group, but their own group is administrative costs are considerably more than this one. They go through Cabot Risk on general insurance and Blue Cross Blue Shield, Maya on health insurance.
Okay. Anyone have any questions on Article 2?
Make a motion?
We have a motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, this motion passes unanimously.
The third article is the change from the calendar year to the fiscal year to certify new growth. It puts us in line with our the way we run our books. It's part of the Omnibus Municipal Modernization Act. 2/3 of the communities in the Commonwealth have already accepted this provision, and it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it definitely makes more sense to do it this way because you're going to get a more accurate assessment of the numbers, right? So,
It'll take a 2-year phase in, but then we'll be able to do it.
Any questions on Article 3?
Good.
All right, do we have a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, this motion passes unanimously.
Article 4 is rescinding the prior ambulance borrowing. As we told town meeting, we needed to, in effect, authorize the borrowing, so we got in the queue for the ambulance.
Yep.
And we were able to order it, and so The only issue I have is I have to verify the vote required to rescind. I don't know if it's a supermajority or not. I'm waiting for council to get back to me. But other than that, it's, you'll see that we, in the subsequent capital article, we want to pay for the ambulance with free cash.
So they have a VIN number, they have one ordered with Acushnet.
We don't have the, I don't know if we have the VIN number yet, but we're in the order. We've got the processes to the point where we now need to rescind the
We'll
borrowing.
lose our place in the queue.
I don't know. You'll have to talk to the fire chief on that. All I know is that we told town meeting as soon as we got the okay,
Right, we rescinded it.
we'll rescind it. So I'm asking it be rescinded now.
Motion approved.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion passes unanimously.
The capital articles. You've seen it, the previous iteration you saw was higher than this. We decreased the fire chief's vehicle from 75 to 63. The ambulance is there, the 63,000 for there. The electric cars and the town share of the Chrysler Voyager for the COA, which is 20%, 80% paid for by the grant. So the total is $729,849, and it's all from free cash.
Do we know if the chief's car, is that a hybrid, is that full gas? What is that?
I believe the one he's got's full gas.
The one here, though, the one.
I believe it's gas.
Gas.
I'm not sure. It's coming off of the state
Yeah.
list. So it's somewhere in the low 40s, where if you bought it at a dealership, it would be in the 50s.
And we're just gonna take the stuff out of the old chief's car and put it in the new one? Or are we getting all new?
Whatever can be transferred, I'm sure he will, but there'll be stuff that needs to be bought new. And that's why it's 63,000. And we had a discussion and cut it from 75 to
Right.
63.
No surprises. I'll make a motion.
Second.
A motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye. Abstain.
One abstention, anyone opposed? Okay, so the motion passes with one abstention.
The next article is the cardiac monitors. You see that it says 80,000 from free cash to pay for it, and 12,000 from the ambulance reserve. It's technically from free cash, but that's a pass-through with the opioid settlement amount of 80,000 we're using. We checked with town council, and it's an appropriate use of the opioid settlement, and it is something that is necessary. The cardiac monitors we have now were bought in 2013, and the maximum useful life is 10 years.
Yeah,
So
no,
I
it's
know-
not, it's not something you wanna take a chance with and have something not work when you need it, so.
I'm quite familiar with them. I'll make a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, any discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? This motion passes unanimously.
Article 7, we're requesting that you transfer from free cash to the capital expense stabilization fund at 100,000. Sorry. Originally, I asked for 150,000, but in light of some things that might come up in the spring, we would rather just transfer 100,000.
How much do we have in there right now?
It'll be 805, 862 with
Is it in
the,
there?
Yeah, it's in there. Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry, I should have read a little farther.
That's all right.
There's a typo.
the repair.
Yeah,
Repair.
2 for repair.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, this motion passes unanimously.
Article 8, we're asking to transfer from free cash 200,000 to the OPEB trust fund. We are building up the trust fund. It's not only a smart thing to do, but it helps us with GASB and our bond rating.
I can't remember, what did we put an amount in during the annual town meeting too? Was it the same amount?
No, it's 400.
It was
400.
during the annual? Okay.
We're getting, once we have the study done on our liability, just to update it, I mean, in the past, it was approximately 21 million.
I think so.
And so with the change in health insurance, and the fact that we've built up a reserve, we're getting to the point now that you're going to start to look at, and we'll ask the folks to project out, since we've changed our investment vehicle from PRIM, where we were losing money, to PARS, which is probably the most successful public sector one around. We're looking to see what their predictions are as far as the increase from our investing this money and our liability, and to see at what point, if you continue to fund it so much a year, when you will not have to fund it anymore because we will have gotten to the target
We hit
amount.
the benchmark, yeah.
For the folks out there, can you explain the difference between PRIM and PARS?
PARS is out of Plymouth, pretty much led by the Plymouth County Treasurer. It's a group of communities that are pooling their investments. PRIM was a large state body with the run by the state, with the latest performance of the stock market and the substantial fees the state charged with PRIM. You were going in the negative with the money
So
you...
it's like a fund management kind of thing.
Right, but you were going in the negative with the state. The money you folks in the town meeting gave us the last 2 times, we didn't invest in PRIM. We invested in money market accounts, and now we've transferred it to PARS. It's a lot safer, and its fees are, I think, 60%, if I remember correctly, less than the state. And with the fact that we're almost all out of PRIM now, we had to leave a little bit in because they don't let us take it all out at once. That should be out in another 2 months at the most, and the bad experience of PRIM will be over.
Thank you.
And just for the folks out there watching, I'm not sure if everybody knows what the acronym OPEB stands for. So what it stands for is Other Post-Employee Benefits. Specifically, it's for health insurance for retirees. So it
Correct.
covers a portion of the retirees' health benefits, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, do we have a motion?
Motion?
Second.
We have motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, this motion passes unanimously.
We've changed the numbering from before on Article 9 and 10. It's just we switched the numbers. Article 9 now is the Community Preservation Act. We're asking to transfer $75,000 from the Community Preservation Funds for the Lake Street, where it's going to be added to a previous article from the November 2020 Fall Special Town Meeting. The purpose of that is we've done a lot of work up at Lake Street, as anybody who's driven by knows. We were going to use chemicals to get rid of the weeds. When we further looked into it, it was not what we should do. And so we're going with a weed eater, raker type of machine that will harvest the weeds out of the ponds. And we're
Do we even have a number as to how much this is gonna cost? Do we even have a plan?
yeah, we're going to do this,
Okay.
take care of one of the ponds, see how it works. A number of towns have done it in other lakes.
Mhm.
They're staying away from the chemicals.
That makes sense.
You're never going to totally eliminate the weeds. But the more you push it back, the less you're going to have to do year to year down, hopefully down in the future. If you don't do anything, you will lose the ponds and you will end up with vernal pools and then swamps.
Seeing that this is New Bedford's property,
I was just going to mention that.
shouldn't New Bedford help us out with this? To some degree, I mean, I know they're letting us use it and the town's benefit, and I understand all that. But
They don't want to,
they don't want
they
to
would
put
rather
anything.
let it go to swamp. And
Yeah, see that.
as I understand it, these were reservoirs for industrial use in New Bedford, and the water-powered plants and the industry is not there like it was 100 years ago.
Look, I mean, if it gets rid of most of the weeds,
Yeah,
then it's a win-win, right? And you're not using toxic chemicals, which I think I spoke about last week.
Mhm.
Yeah, I live right around the corner. The use they got this summer was a huge increase over what it traditionally was. Certainly a lot safer for the families that are out there fishing and enjoying it, so.
Yeah, absolutely. I
And
mean,
we've got lighting there now.
Mhm.
We've got safety features along the road.
I think they've done a phenomenal job down there. It looks great.
And the walking paths are really great for people who want to walk, dog walkers. Yeah, it's
There's
turned out
always-
to be a
somebody
nice
will always complain
project.
about something though, even it could look perfect, and somebody will find something to complain about. That just happens. That's just the way it is. But
People
like,
complain about the guardrails.
yeah, I mean, just like with my own lawn, I'd rather have a few weeds than use Roundup or any kind of toxic crap like that. So
Yeah,
I'll make a motion.
you didn't know what the future effect was going to be.
no, absolutely. Yeah, you can't take any chances with that. All right, so we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion passes unanimously.
The Article 10, golf course capital expenses. Board cut it from the requested 250 to 125. It's to fund a number of capital projects for the golf course. The reason they cut it was there is still money left in another article, and there's a reserve. So, and the safeguard is that the Board of Selectmen would have to approve any expenses.
Okay, I would like to reiterate to anybody out there watching that these funds are not coming out of taxation. It's basically coming out of the golf course and what they earn from user fees.
Motion approved.
All right, we have a motion, is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Article 11 is the first of the zoning bylaw articles. It hasn't changed since you saw it the last time. It's amending the special permit time frame. The Commonwealth, in its wisdom during COVID, increased the time frame from 2 to 3 years, but didn't put a sunset provision on it. The town has the authority to decrease it and is looking to decrease it back to 2 years. We also put language in that allows the special permit authority to extend a special permit up to 2 years. There was an issue prior to this that if you did an extension, you had to do it to 2 years. So the board, the various authorities, special permitting, granting authorities, are looking for the flexibility to do it for 6 months, a year, rather than the 2-year extension.
This doesn't have anything to do with town finances, do we even vote on it?
It doesn't, I mean, what this, in essence, what this does, correct me if I'm wrong, it prevents a developer from sitting on a project for an extended period of time, basically.
Correct. And probably the thing that most motivated this was a number of solar projects.
Yeah.
And the fact that if they came in under the system that the Commonwealth left us with, which was a 3-year special permit before it lapses, and then if they were looking for an extension, that would be another 3 years, that you're looking at 6 years of,
That's how it is in Boston. There are projects that are vacant buildings, brand new buildings put up that they pulled out of, that they haven't finished.
so we'd like to button it up, so to speak.
Sure.
Motion approved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? This motion passes unanimously.
All right. Article 12. The special residential development over 55 zoning. Presently, your zoning bylaw says that there is a special, you can have a special permit granted by the Zoning Board of Appeals for multifamily housing for the elderly 55 years and older, or as allowed under Mass General Laws, Chapter 40B. There are no parameters in this. There are no restrictions. There are no setbacks. It is a total blanket allowance with the special permit. So the only thing that would restrict it would be orders of condition by the special permit granted by the ZBA. This new section does a number of things. It restricts the number of acres. It restricts the setbacks. It restricts and gives you parameters on how many units can be in a buildable acre. It allows for owned or rented, provided they are occupied by an individual over 55. No building shall contain more than 4 dwelling units. No dwelling unit shall contain more than 2 bedrooms. No more than 10% of the total units shall have fewer than 2 bedrooms. It gives all sorts of setback parameters from, and frontage from roads, along public ways. It gives design standards. It buttons things up considerably versus what you have.
Strictly 50 and older.
55 and
55
older.
and older.
Now, if someone,
What happens if,
if someone, some person who's a resident passes away, the estate has 2 years to market the property. But you could also rent it, the estate could rent it. Say someone who's a beneficiary of the estate is 50 years old, they could rent it for 3 years, 5 years, and move in. But if it's, no one goes under 55 could purchase or rent. So it gives that restriction. Does that answer the question?
how about somebody's like living in New Bedford or out of town, and they have a breakup of parents, and the children have to live with the grandparents. Are they available to live in them apartments?
It just needs to have one person. over
One
50.
person has to be 55 or older.
Right,
It
so if
would
there's a
de-
caretaker. then-
It would depend on, I'm sure, if there are other covenants within the development that the developer puts on. It wouldn't be anything that the town is restricting. For example, if it's a condo situation and the covenants say no children, then it would be no children, but it's not something the town is putting in.
So, Mr. Kelly, I got a couple questions. So I read through this whole thing last night, and the question I have is, will somebody have the ability to either purchase or rent? I mean, so if you're gonna, so let's say somebody wanted to rent one of these, who do they go to rent it? The developer, or somebody who purchased it and is gonna lease it out as like an
They
investment?
could go to the developer.
Yeah.
Like a developer could do a project and they could be all rental units. However, the people occupying, at least one individual occupying it has to be over 55. And there could be other covenants, as I said, further restrictive.
So the potential developer will have to basically disclose that, right? Like, if these are gonna be units that can be
It's a
purchased?
special permit. The planning board will have the opportunity to put all sorts of additional orders of condition on it.
And who polices this?
Planning board and building inspector.
I mean, it does look like there's like a ton of safeguards in this thing. I mean, it's gonna go through a lot of different boards. I mean, this is very involved. I mean, if I was a developer, I'd be like, oh, this is a lot to
That's what
go through.
I see this is proposed by the select board, but I'm assuming obviously this must have gone through the zoning and the planning board and
It went through the planning board. There's been multiple rewrites. The planning board, board of selectmen, back and forth.
zoning board?
Huh?
The zoning board?
Mr. Brown was here, but it was not under the jurisdiction of the zoning board. It's under the planning board.
Okay.
Other
mean,
than the
it-
growth of our tax base, again, financially, what's our interest in?
Well, just increased economic development in the
Right.
town, which potentially could ease the burden on, just a residential property taxpayer in a
Right.
single
No, I
family home.
understand all that. So
Right.
other than that, do we have any? Because, I mean, we're for anything that's gonna increase the
Mhm.
taxation base of the town.
Yeah. Without,
long-
and
as long as
actually,
it's-
and then also at the same time, minimize, I don't know if it mitigates completely, but potentially mitigates 40B development,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Which would potentially put more of a burden on the schools, et cetera. So
Yeah.
I think this is a good thing for the town, done properly. It looks like there's a lot of safeguards built into this article from what I read. And I'm by no means an expert on any of this stuff, I'm just, but it looks very detailed from what I could read through. There was one thing at the end of the article that I picked up on and I noticed. And is there any language in the article that would protect neighbors or abutters from like an unforeseen consequence of building something, right? I mean, whenever something's constructed, something can happen later on. So let's say one of these units gets put up and the neighbor or abutter starts getting issues with water pressure or flooding. Who would be responsible?
Well, before, let's deal with water pressure since you asked. Before the plans would be approved by the planning board, the plans would have to go to the water and sewer commissioners for satisfactory design and access to current water and sewer infrastructure and facilities, and a narrative report detailing the impact of the proposed project on the town's existing water and sewer capacity and infrastructure, including any planned or recommended upgrades shall accompany to the plans. This review may result in requirements for installation of additional infrastructure or facilities at the applicant's expense.
So the town, not the town.
Yep.
Yeah, as long as we're not on the hook, taxpayers aren't on the hook.
And then there is a similar provision for public safety. So I think we've tried to make sure there's enough safeguards. I think Mr. Wallner said there's 10 different sets of eyes, meaning boards or
Yes.
committees
Yeah.
or department heads that have to look at this before it gets approved.
Right, I think that's a great safeguard for the town. And it seemed like, when I read further into the next article, 13, these two kind of go hand in hand together, almost like they work together, so to speak, as another safeguard, so.
The other issue is what you hear all the time in towns is that the young folks can't afford houses in the towns they grew up in because there's such a scarcity of housing stock, especially starter houses. Now, if some mature folks want to move into a development like this and stay in the town they've lived in all their life, in a smaller unit, no upkeep, etc., then that would free up the housing stock for the young folks.
Hey, I was young at one time, right? And
I'm not sure I
It's-
remember when I was young.
so, when I was first starting out in my career, I couldn't afford a house in Acushnet because I hadn't been working long enough. I had student loans to pay. I had to save up. So I bought a starter house in New Bedford. So I started off in New Bedford first. And then as I, worked my way, got the business growing, things got better, then I found an opportunity to move back to my hometown and sold my first home, and that enabled me to move into the home that I'm in now. So, I mean, sometimes you can't start off like with a big house right off the bat, right?
But the problem is, there are very few houses nowadays for sale, comparatively speaking to the amount of young people that want to buy them in the South Coast area.
Yeah, right now it's a very difficult
Oh,
time
it's-
anyway.
oh, it is a it's a
but
challenging
Interest
time.
rates and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a tough time for any starter, family to buy a home, but.
But the amount of housing
Homes
stock
available.
is
Right,
very small.
yeah.
And,
It's like 4 or 5 listings in town
Yeah.
currently right now, and that's,
pardon?
I think there's only like 4 or 5 active listings right now in town, it's not.
Yeah, and it's, if you want to have continuity with the residents in town and grandparents see their grandkids move in or something like that, this is one of the tools you could use, is the development of the over 55 community. And it also helps out in the fact that most of these that I've seen around the state, the mature residents are not responsible for the upkeep. It's similar, it's a homeowners association or something like that, or it's a developer who's renting.
I'll make a motion to pass.
Okay, we got a motion, is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, this motion passes unanimously.
Article 13 is the Board of Selectmen hasn't voted on it yet. What it amends your present sewer bylaw to clean it up as far as some out-of-date referrals to various boards that don't exist anymore. And the fact that it also makes sure that there's somewhat of an equity by clarifying the fact that there would be sewer connection privilege fees and sewer extension privilege fees that capture the expansion of the sewer system without having just a connection fee. It also brings it in line with the way the state statute is written as far as making sure that the fee structure you have in town is equitable. It was written by Mr. Garetowski, who is the expert that your town uses on all of these sewer provisions. And disregard the blue, that was just the fact that I have to rewrite that sentence because Mr. Garetowski
Garetowski?
might be he's an attorney.
Yeah, my nephew.
Yeah. He misplaced a couple words here and there, so I've got to remember to insert them before I put it to the final printing.
So this, I have a question on
And
this.
we're very grateful to him because he did this while he was on vacation.
So
Yes.
this, what is new with this? Is it this extension privilege fee?
you will see the stripes are what was removed, and the red was what was put in. It's the various privilege, Reader's Digest version, yes, it's the various privilege fees.
So this is a new fee that'll be incurred by residents.
No, it's
No?
a fee so that a developer doesn't wait until the assessment has all been paid off by the people that are attaching to the system, and then come in and end up with the $650 attachment fee when he's adding a whole new section of sewers.
I think this is what Sue talked about at the last meeting.
So it's more of a safeguard then
Yes.
for residents.
It's,
Okay.
and it makes sure it's an equitable distribution, not only of the fact that some folks will pay a lot of money to hook up, and then someone comes in after the fact and hooks up for a couple
They'll be paying the
$100.
fees afterwards, right?
Yeah, they're still paying a fee regardless of what time they come on.
And it also takes account of potential future maintenance costs.
So this has
That
a,
results because the person might be adding 15 or 20 users.
so this ultimately has a beneficial financial impact for the residents.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll make a motion.
Okay,
Second.
motion a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
The next article is, let's see, Article 14 or 15?
I didn't see, is there a 14? Because
I'm missing that.
No, we don't have 14, goes right to 50.
Oh, I didn't, I
I think
just
it's
did,
numbered.
I didn't, yeah, it's misnumbered, I
It's
took
misnumbered.
an article out. Article 15 that you have is really Article 14 on the index.
okay.
And what it is the authorization for our RFP sale of the Russell Memorial Library. The reason it's highlighted is because this is language that changed from the language you saw originally. It's the belt and suspender language from town council, any and all conditions. And what it primarily does is it allows the selectmen to be authorized to sell the Russell Memorial Library as is, and to attach reuse or historical conditions and terms and conditions for the sale. And it's by RFP, not auction. If it was auction, you just put it out there, people would bid a price, and we would not have any means to put a number of conditions on the reuse of the building.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? This motion passes unanimously.
The next article is a similar article for under 20,000 square foot lots. A number of these are tax title or abandoned lots, so to speak. Some of them are very small, and it's the same thing. It allows the selectmen on an RFP sale to set prices, to combine lots if they think that's an advantageous to the town, to notify abutters, to restrict the sale if possible to the people abutting if it's a small lot like the size of this table. And it gets a number of them off our books. And it's a source of revenue to the town. It's not a continuing source, but at least it gets a lot of these properties off our books.
Clear it up.
Cleans it up.
Creates a tax base too.
I'll make a motion unless there's a discussion.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on this? If there's no other discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, this motion passes unanimously.
The next article is an article that approves the MOA for the Town Hall AFSCME unit, which is actually more than Town Hall. You've got 4 different distinct groups in this unit: clerical employees, library employees, custodian and maintenance, and dispatchers. They do not work the same hours. They do not gain the same holidays, so we were having to have multiple MOAs attached. This puts it all in the contract. It defines the individual units and takes all these MOAs and folds them into the various articles. There is, in spite of the wording of the article, which is belt and suspenders from town council, there is no additional funding necessary for this. It's just a change of wording and defining the various employees in 4 distinct units.
Second pass over.
Does this have to be accepted by the union?
We've already negotiated with the union on this. Once it goes through town meeting, the union has been in multiple discussions with us. We will get a signed copy prior to town meeting, but it's no real change to anything that is in all of the MOAs that are attached to the basic contract.
And no funding's needed on them.
No funding that's needed. I would probably advise my successor to, when he's negotiating a contract with AFSCME, to actually split it out into separate contracts, where you'd have 3 contracts, one with the dispatchers, one with the custodians and maintenance, and one with the library clerical together.
I think it's funny, you think we're gonna let you go anywhere.
Well, the contract's gonna be a while, and I don't think this gentleman will last that long.
I say we just pass this over if there's no financial impact.
I mean, indirectly, there's,
But it is a
Yeah,
contract.
I think we should make a recommendation on this.
It seems to make sense, I'll make a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? This motion passes unanimously.
The next article is put in case we come to an agreement with the Teamsters local police. We're still in negotiations. We're going towards the JLMC. We have no funding amount, but we want to post it in the warrant just in case it happens. If in that case, we'd be asking for a meeting of the FinCom prior to town meeting to report to town meeting, but it's shows good faith on the part of the town to put both this and the next article in the warrant. We're still in the middle of negotiations.
So basically, Article 18 and 19 are the same, just for different unions.
And we are not finished with negotiations, but
All right, so we can make a motion on 18 and 19.
So
to
approve.
You could
I'll second.
make a motion to report at town meeting. And then if it's not passed over and you have a meeting because we have a contract, then you can report.
So if there's no contract by the town meeting date, we're not gonna make any recommendation on this on the town floor.
No.
Okay.
So it would be just to report to town meeting.
All right, so
That's what the selectmen will most likely do.
we'll make a motion to report to town meeting regarding Article 18 and 19.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I think I'm gonna abstain, I don't know. whether
Yeah, I
vote
probably
on
should
it.
abstain from the last one.
So how many abstentions do we have?
On the 18, sir.
Well, we're doing 18 and 19 all together.
Yeah, I'm abstaining.
From both?
Uh,
Well, just so Kathy knows.
Well, I think I can vote on 19,
Yeah,
but
do them
18.
separately.
All right, so we'll do each one separately. Let's do Article 18.
I'm
Uh,
abstaining.
We have a motion to report to town meeting.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No, oh, so you're abstaining from 18, so one abstention on 18. So the motion passes with one abstention. All right, Article 19,
Do the motion to report.
motion to report to town meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
All right, so motion passes with one abstention.
Mr. Chairman, in the prior documents we forwarded to you, there was the stormwater bylaw as an article. The Board of Selectmen has voted to request that the Planning Board appoint 2 members and the Conservation Commission appoint 2 members, and to continue to review the amendment to the bylaw and to most likely take it up in the spring.
Okay.
And as you know, there was a citizen's petition. The board has been informed that there was insufficient certified signatures to allow it to go forward, so it's been pulled from the warrant.
Okay.
And that's our reason.
All right, we voted on everything.
And we got you out of here in
Got
less than
everything
an
lined
hour.
up. All
We're
right.
not done yet.
Say it.
All right, so, anybody have any old business to discuss? Any new business? All right, we have one set of meeting minutes from August 9th, 2023. I do not have the minutes.
Yeah, no, I didn't finish those, I was away, so.
Okay, all right, so we're not taking that up, okay?
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, hold on.
Oh,
Hang on.
Motion to table, motion to table the minutes.
All right, so under next meeting date, I don't think we're gonna have to meet, because we basically finished everything up tonight. We made our recommendations. Like Mr. Kelly said, unless any of these contracts are finalized before the town meeting, then we would have a separate meeting right before the special town meeting. Typically, we would meet like an hour before to just wrap that up. So we'll be informed of that if that happens.
Correct.
So between now and November 6th, we will most likely not be meeting.
motion to adjourn.
You want to schedule that meeting for November 6th, or?
We can always cancel it if
Well,
needed.
I'd say let's wait, and if we know it's gonna happen,
I'll give you a heads up.
yeah, and Kathy will have a heads up, she can post it ahead of time. So I don't think we have to do any of that just yet. I think we had a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Everyone
Motion
have
second.
a safe
All in favor?
Halloween.
Yeah.
Right?
Night.